Michigan State just landed a potentially program-changing quarterback via the transfer portal. Plus, we have an update on Scott Frost and where his next coaching gig might be. All that and more on today's episode of 4th and 10. 4 college football stories in just around 10 minutes. Now, let's go for it. Michigan State made some pretty big news on Thursday morning as they landed one of the most talented quarterbacks in the transfer portal. They got the commitment from former Oregon State quarterback Aidan Chiles. The move reconnects him with new Spartans head coach and former Beavers head coach Jonathan Smith. Chiles visited in recent days and decided to commit to Smith, the coach who recruited him out of high school and played for one season at Oregon State this past year. Smith has only been in Michigan State for a couple of weeks, but he's already landed his star quarterback. With all of Michigan State scholarship quarterbacks entering the transfer portal, they desperately needed a quarterback, and I don't think Smith could have asked for a better one. Chiles didn't start any games for Oregon State this past year, but he played well enough in his limited action and showed all of his potential. Chiles told ESPN he didn't visit any other schools, he knew that he wanted to go to Michigan State. I talked to Coach Smith, and at the end of the day, I told him I came to play for you. Wherever you go, that's where I want to be. Smith began playing Chiles on the third series of every game, which began on September 30th against Utah, and it stretched through the entire season, and he looked great the rest of the year. There were even some drives where he looked better than DJ Uiagalelei. Overall, Chiles finished with 4 touchdown passes, 3 rushing touchdowns, and he completed 69% of his passes. He didn't throw a single interception in his 35 attempts. The Oregon State coaching staff thought highly enough of Chiles that they were considering making him the starting quarterback during last year's summer camp. I knew he trusted me, simply because I'm 17 and I'm getting a lot of reps I shouldn't be getting. I saw that they believed in me. He's putting me out there. He trusts me to go win this third drive and put up some points. Chiles also said he developed a strong personal relationship with Smith, who would call him into his office on occasion and ask him about school and life, and that relationship really mattered to him. He talked to me as a person, not a player. I liked having a conversation with a coach who cares for my well-being. The system is a quarterback-driven system. Everyone rallies around the quarterback and trusts in him to make the plays for the offense. I feel like I can make plays when needed to. Being young and being able to play the third drive in nearly every game, I've been trusted to do that already. The more I build on that trust, the better. That's also a big reason I liked it so much. We can start from scratch. People can see what we build. I did the same thing at Oregon State when I committed there. There's not too much to it. At the end of the day, if the players want to play with you, they're gonna come. I'll tell them, I'm coming here, I'd love to play with you. I know the sample size has been small for Chiles, but there's a lot of hype surrounding him, and for good reason. If you look up transfer rankings, there's some outlets out there that had Chiles as the #1 quarterback available due to his high upside. It's going to be interesting to see how he looks at Michigan State next year, and if he's able to emerge as one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Maryland added a new quarterback in former NC State quarterback MJ Morris. With Talia Tagovailoa leaving, the Terps were in search of a brand new quarterback. Morris was ranked as the number 27 quarterback in the portal by 24/7 Sports. In 9 games over 2 seasons with NC State, 7 of those being starts, Morris totaled nearly 1,500 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He also added 100 yards on the ground with a rushing score as well. Morris joined the Wolfpack ahead of the 2022 season and made 5 appearances as a true freshman. This past season, after NC State fell to Louisville in Week 5, Morris took over the starting duties. He led the Wolfpack to 3 wins over the following 4 weeks, accounting for 700 passing yards and 7 touchdowns. However, to preserve his red shirt, Morris stepped down as the team's starter after defeating Miami in early November. Here's what he told Inside the Black and Gold about his decision to transfer to Maryland. I just fell in love with the coaching staff and the people up there. The facilities are beautiful. That place is beautiful. I imagine myself living there as well, but just surrounded by a coaching staff that cares about you, how they talk about production, and doing everything they can to put you in the NFL. I fell in love with it. There were a lot of things that went into this decision. I want to say first of all, this decision was never to enter the portal. The decision was never to think about leaving. The decision was really predetermined before the season even really started, when in the beginning of the year, they brought in Brennan Armstrong strong. Of course, there were thoughts about leaving, people saying, oh, you should get out of there, but I loved NC State so much. I felt comfortable there. The fan base, the coaches, my brothers in the locker room, I really felt comfortable that I didn't want to leave at all, because that's where my heart was at. Oklahoma picked up one of the better running backs in the transfer portal as they added former UT Martin running back Sam Franklin. Franklin was a Walter Payton Award finalist for the Skyhawks, given annually to the National Offensive Player of the Year in FCS. So essentially their version of the Heisman. This past season, he ran for 1,400 yards, averaging more than 6 yards a carry. He had 11 rushing touchdowns while also catching 14 passes for 100 yards and a receiving touchdown. Over his 3 seasons there, Franklin recorded 2,100 rushing yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. Before we get to the rest of today's video, I'd like to share with you guys how you can win money during the college football season. I've partnered with Underdog Fantasy to bring you this amazing deal. If you download the Underdog app and use promo code Harris, they'll match your first deposit up to $500. Yep, they're giving you up to $500 of free money. I've had a lot of success all season with college football and the NFL, and you can do the exact same with Underdog Fantasy. So make sure to use promo code Harris for a 100% deposit match up to $500. You can also sign up using the link in my description as well. We'll wrap up today's video with Scott Frost and his new potential destination. Former Nebraska head coach Frost is being mentioned as a possible offensive coordinator target for Iowa. On Wednesday, the Pat McAfee Show reported that Frost had been linked to the Hawkeyes' vacant offensive coordinator position. Iowa is moving on from offensive coordinator Brian Ferentz and officially listed the job posting on Wednesday. As you all remember, Scott Frost had a disastrous run as head coach while at Nebraska. Through his 4 seasons there with the Huskers, he was never able to have a winning season. He was fired 3 games into the 2022 season, and we haven't seen or heard from him really ever since. Before taking his first head coaching job with UCF in 2016, Frost spent 3 seasons as the offensive coordinator for the Ducks. Unlike his tenure with Nebraska, he was actually well regarded during his time as their offensive coordinator. Now, this would certainly be an interesting move. I mean, I feel like I myself could improve that Iowa offense, and I have no football coaching experience whatsoever. If Frost were to go there, it seems nearly impossible for the Hawkeyes to get any worse. At least, that's what you would think. Well, that wraps it up for today's episode of 4th and 10. What are your thoughts on Aidan Chiles transferring to Michigan State? Do you think it was the right move? Also, what are your thoughts on the rumors that Scott Frost might end up at Iowa? Do you think that would be a good hire, or do you think it would be a disaster? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section down below. If there are any videos you'd like to see in the coming weeks, let me know in the comments below, and it could be featured as my next video. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos all off season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.